Hi there, Mickey Mankus here with Out the Back Door. I'm glad you could join me today. I want to know how many of you have done this before. Fresh rhubarb from the garden and dipped in sugar. Oh, does that bring back childhood memories for me. And I have another question for you. How would you like to be able to say that you ate a whole serving of vegetables after eating rhubarb crisp? Well, you can, because rhubarb is a vegetable. So come in the kitchen and join me while we make a wonderful batch of rhubarb crisp. Look at this big, beautiful stalk of rhubarb. There's approximately 10 different varieties of rhubarb out there. The one that we have is called Crimson Red. It works very well in our zone 3 for planting. Also, the stalks are very similar to celery, but that's the only part that you want to eat of the plant. You don't want to eat the leaves or the roots because it has a high concentration of oxalic acid in it, which is toxic to humans. Rhubarb is packed with vitamin C, vitamin K, and manganese. It also has a whopping amount of calcium. It's full of fiber. It's got magnesium and antioxidants in it. And some people are even calling this a fruit superfood, even though it is a vegetable. All right now I'm just going to chop up the rhubarb into about 1/2-inch pieces. We're going to need a total of 8 to 9 cups. If you pick your rhubarb right away and you're not able to use it, you can actually store it in the refrigerator unwashed. Just wrap it up really well and it will stay good in the refrigerator up to 3 weeks. Okay, for our ingredients, let's start with our crust on the bottom and our crunch topping. We're going to need 2 cups of flour, 2 teaspoons of cinnamon, 2 cups of brown sugar, 1 cup of butter at room temperature, and 1.5 cups of regular rolled oats. And for the filling, we're going to make a syrup with 2 cups of water, 2 cups of white sugar, 1/4 cup of arrowroot powder. You can use cornstarch if you'd like, 1.5 teaspoons of vanilla, and then we have 8 to 9 cups of chopped rhubarb ready to go in. This is going to make a 9 by 13 cake pan. I'm going to start by mixing up our dry ingredients together. I've got my flour in here, the brown sugar and cinnamon already, and what I like to do is I'll whisk everything up just to incorporate things well before I start adding my rolled oats and the butter. I just find this works easiest for me. Now I'm going to use a pastry cutter to cut the butter into the flour mix. You do want room temp butter. You want to form like little pea-size clumps in here with the butter when you're cutting it up. And once you get like a coarse crumble, we're right at that stage. You see what I mean? This is good. We've added the rolled oats, and now I'm just going to toss this all together. This is going to be your bottom crust and your top crumble. Now that this is all mixed together, let's start working on our syrup. I've put my water and my sugar, and I've actually added the arrowroot powder right away while it's still cool, and I'm going to mix it up. Then I'm going to put it on the burner and bring it up to a boil until the syrup thickens up. While the syrup is coming up to a boil and the sugar's dissolving, I am going to grease our pan. And actually, I am using the homemade butter. I will leave a link to that in case you're interested of how to do it because it's so simple and easy. But you're going to completely grease your pan. Also, if you're interested in a butter bell, I will leave a link below in the description box of where you can order one. We'll put the bottom crust in while we're waiting. We're going to put half on the bottom and use half for the top. Then we're going to pat it down. And next we're going to add our rhubarb. I always go with the 9 cups. Alright, our syrup is a nice thick consistency now. And I took it off the burner so that we can add the vanilla. And now we're going to drizzle the syrup over the top of the rhubarb. Next, we're going to add the remainder of our topping, our crumble. And I just do this by hand. Now we're going to bake this for 1 hour at 350 degrees. All right, while the rhubarb crisp is baking right now, I'm going to actually make some whipped cream. So I'm going to start with a pint of whipping cream. And I'll put it in a small, deep bowl. I do this a little unconventional. Most people would start whipping this up and add their vanilla and their sugar later on. I actually add everything right away and it works out fine. I'm going to put about a teaspoon of vanilla and about a heaping quarter cup of confectioner sugar. And I'm going to start on low to begin with, just to get things mixed up in there. And now I'll go on high. If you did watch the video on making homemade butter, I did talk about the point that you have to pay attention to so you don't turn it into butter. So we're going to stop before that. We are getting close to being done. And there we have our whipped cream. The rhubarb crunch is now out of the oven and it smells so good. I don't want to wait for it to cool down, but we're going to have to. I want to thank you again for joining me today on making this rhubarb crunch. If you have any comments or questions, please leave them below. Please hit that subscribe and notification bell and give me a thumbs up and share. I really hope you have a wonderful day. God bless.